Hey, Pastor Brian and Bethany, we are so pleased to say happy 10th anniversary. We can't believe it. I'm gonna sound old here for a minute. How in the world did 10 years go flying by like that? I know this, when we sent you out to start Short Point Church, we believed in you. We had big dreams for you, and you fulfilled them. But here's the thing, there's more dreams for you, and I'm believing the best is yet to come. So celebrate 10 years. Thank God for what he's done, but thank God that, seriously, the best is yet to come. You're not done. You are just laying the foundation to build something even more incredible in Milwaukee and to reach the entire state of Wisconsin. So we are celebrating with you from Minnesota. Congratulations, 10 years. Proud of you guys.
These are the moments that hold us together, that will be remembered for the rest of our lives. These are the moments, the ones we were dreaming of, some just a whisper, passing the time.
So, 10 years, babe, and God's been good and faithful with Short Point.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk a little bit about how it started, about what God's been doing the last 10 years. What's your perspective? Because actually, when we do culture, I'm always the one sharing the story. And sometimes I just fill in the blanks for you, and maybe I got it wrong.
So you never know what you heard, guys. Okay, well, Brian, it was probably like date number 2 or 3. He tells me right away, I'm an Alabama girl, and he's like, so I'm from Wisconsin. Feel called to go back there one day, plant a church on Capitol Drive, and I grew up in the Bible Belt. I was like, what's this church planting thing? I don't know if I get this. Like, there's a ton of churches. There's like 3 churches on every corner. Why do you need another church? I always had a missions heart, and just the heart, like, behind church planting is really to reach people who are unchurched and don't know the Lord.
Yeah.
So that really resonated with my missions heart, and that's part of the story. I feel like it was there from the very beginning of our dating years.
Yeah, and I knew I needed to set the stage early because getting you off the beach was not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So we had to bring Jesus into it as quick as possible.
Right. When we went to River Valley, which is our Sunday church, I remember in our interview, Brian's like, hey, I love what you're doing. I feel like we're called to plant a church in Brookfield, Pewaukee area on Capitol Drive. I want to learn how to lead, and I'm a loyal guy. I want to come and serve. So we planted a campus there. So I just remember that they were like, are you guys still thinking about and praying about planting, or are you...
Do you want a bigger opportunity?
Me?
No.
Or do you want a bigger opportunity? So it was like the dangling carrot, right? It was like you can either choose comfort or calling. We prayed about it and we're like, okay, and we're choosing to say yes to what you're asking of us, God.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like our burn the ships type moment, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
we left, we were sent out from there. It was beautiful and healthy, and we love Pastor Rob and Becca.
Fast forwarding, do you remember even early on, I would drive down in June of 2015. You stayed back even with the kids, and I would make some weekend trips because there were some people already interested in helping the church, and they were already kind of wanted to meet together and do a few things. I wanted to get these out because I remember there's one pic in specifically right here, like this picture. This is the building that we met in July. We started meeting in July every Sunday because people wanted to connect. But our first meeting in this building, I'm sure you remember, there were 12 there were 12 adults at our first meeting, and it was so beautiful. Though I remember some of the first families. I remember talking to my mom and dad Hey, Dad, like, this is gonna be a bit different kind of church than what you might be used to. And I just didn't want Dad and Mom to feel obligated,
Right.
you know, like,
Right.
just because we're their kids. And same thing, like, before we started the church, and they said, Brian, we feel called to this.
Yeah.
And they were some of the first people to give like a kingdom builders. They were the first
Yeah.
people to say, we'll serve. And up until this last year, actually, Dad has been setting up the flags
Yeah.
at the entry point. Anyways, I think when I look at this picture, I think of that first 12 and the people who were in those first meetings and saying, we'll dream with you.
Yep.
We'll pray with you.
Yep.
And it was
So
beautiful.
grateful for those people.
Yeah.
Who said yes and
Yeah. And
that God called.
And it was cool because it quickly started to grow. Like, word would get out. Somebody would tell their friend who told somebody else. But like, the Lord put a scripture on your heart early on.
It was in Zechariah 4, and it said, do not despise these days of small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. And so it's like you have this vision that God's put on our hearts, right, of what we feel called to bring to this city. It was really hard at the beginning because you're like, we have the vision of what we see God doing here and what we want to bring and the voice we want to bring, but we're not there. So I think that was a verse that God really put on my heart of just like, do not despise these days of small beginnings, because the Lord is so honored by your yes and by your obedience.
So when we were working with the Wilson Center, we're gonna use the Wilson Center. We're gonna meet in the lobby. I think this is kind of cool too, just to point out, like, they coach you to like send out 20 to 30,000 mailers and just hope that some hit. So I thought this was cool. This is the day we took the mailers to different post offices throughout the city. We did this at my parents' house. We prayed over them. Check it out. A mailer that was not sent, not a non-delivered mailer from our first invitation to the church. And here's all the stock photos because we had nobody at our church yet. So there's that. When we first met at the Wilson Center, hey, you cannot use the auditorium. So the auditorium we're sitting in today, we weren't allowed into. So these are kind of fun to me. Everything's in the lobby, man. Well, back then we were so small, we could put all of our signs, all of our chairs, a stage. Yeah, we started with, I think, about 200, right around there. And then we just, with expert leadership, dwindled the church to about 100 in about 3 months. So that was really exciting.
I'm really glad we were warned about that.
Yeah, we knew that would happen. They coached us that would happen. Like, don't give up. There's people who are gonna wish you well and never come back. And that happened. So that was cool. If God gives you a dream for something and then He answers that, He's still got more. It's always like, well, what's the next?
It's our job to say yes. But God's the one who's building His church.
It's His church.
It's His church,
and
we're
He
just
loves
called
it
to be stewards
way more than we
and
ever
faithful.
could.
Yeah.
That's right. He knows how to provide for it way more than we ever could.
Yeah, I think about too, Galatians 6:9, just as pastors, it says, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due time you'll reap a harvest if you do not give up. God's called laborers into the harvest, and it's there.
Keep doing it. When we talk about all of this and we talk about 10 years, it's so much not about our talent. It's not about, wow, the Ingalls, that's so great. It's actually just about a couple of people who the best they could do was say yes. And then you see the best that God can do.
That's right.
You know, you're just like, I just want to keep saying yes. I just know, like, we'll probably look down 20 years and be like, we weren't even halfway there yet of all the things that God wanted to do, because I just think it's exponential. So while I'm excited about all the things He did, it's opened my heart to say, God, what is your dream? What do you see for our city? What do you see for our church family? And then just, could you and I, could our team, could our church collectively be people who are just crazy enough to say yes to a God who's like, oh, I'll do it. I'll do it if you'll just trust me to do it. And there's so many staff members, so many people who came alongside and probably didn't even know what they were getting into when they started coming to the church, and now they're on staff. So who knows, you might be next. There have been so many
Yeah.
people who have paved the way with their servant-heartedness,
That's right.
not looking for glory.
That's right.
And God's saying, He's just used them.
Yeah. Just
So-
so, like, hey, here I am, God. Just
Yeah.
use me, you know.
And He will do it.
And I
through all of
think
us.
it's really encouraging, at least to me, because I do not think I'm all that with things. But I just think, just like you look through at the Bible and how God didn't use the most talented.
Right.
He didn't use the wisest. He didn't use the, the people with the most resources. He used people who said yes and were
That's it.
willing. And I think that that's like the beautiful thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
And He'll do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we celebrate 10 years.